If you've ever burned through a pair of shears in a single season, or watched good fleece get damaged by blades that run too hot, you already know the question that matters. Which sheep shears actually hold up when the work gets serious? That question is exactly what this comparison is built around. We looked at power ratings, speed control options, real-world heat management, and how these machines hold up across large herd sizes, not just on the first day, but deep into a long shearing season. Price matters too, and we will be honest about where the value actually lines up versus where you are just paying for a name. By the end, you will know which models farm owners with serious herd numbers keep coming back to, and which ones look better on the spec sheet than they perform in the shed. Number 4 on the list is the B-TRO 2026 upgraded model, sitting at $74.99. On paper, this is a reasonable mid-tier entry. You get 500 watts of power, a full copper motor rated at 2,400 RPM, and 6 speed settings that split into a low range for sensitive areas and a high range for full-body shearing. That speed flexibility is genuinely useful if you are working with animals of different temperaments or coat thickness. Now, the trade-offs. B-TRO is upfront in their own documentation that overheating is a real concern. They specifically recommend cooling spray every few minutes and taking breaks during longer sessions. That is worth taking seriously before you commit to shearing a large herd in one go. With 762 reviews and a 4.2 rating, buyer sentiment is decent, but it sits a step below the confidence level the higher-ranked options on this list have earned. For a casual smallholder or someone shearing a handful of animals a few times a year, the price is fair and the feature set is functional. But if you are running a larger operation and need something you can push harder without babysitting the temperature, the options above this one may be worth the extra investment. And that brings us to number 5 on the list, the PAT-JUUMG 1000-watt sheep shears, sitting at $77.99. On paper, this is the most powerful option we have covered today. A 1,000-watt motor running at 3,200 RPM, 6 speed settings, overheating protection, and a full accessory kit included in the box. That sounds like a strong value argument. But here is where I want you to slow down. This is a newer brand with only around 146 reviews at the time of this video. That is a thin sample size compared to the more established options on this list. And within that limited feedback, there is at least one reported case of a unit failing within the first 30 seconds of use. Now, one incident does not condemn a product, but when the review pool is this small, a single failure carries more weight than it would on a product with thousands of verified purchases. Some buyers also report the body feeling bulkier than expected during extended use. For a high-wattage tool, that matters. The 6-speed system is genuinely useful if it works as described. But the honest answer here is that there simply is not enough consistent data yet to recommend this confidently. Buy this if you are comfortable being an early adopter and want the highest rated wattage at this price. But if reliability is the priority, the options higher up this list have more evidence behind them. Number 3 on the list is the B-TRO 500 watts, and this is where real-world evidence starts carrying serious weight. At $72.99, it sits in the same general price range as the previous option. But what separates it is the review count. Over 1,700 reviews and a 4.3-star rating. That is not a small sample. That is a product that has been through a lot of barns. The 500 watts and 6-speed control give you genuine range. Lower speeds for sensitive areas, higher speeds for a fast, full-body shear. That kind of flexibility matters if you're working across different animals or different coats. Now, the trade-off worth naming. Some buyers have reported mixed opinions on blade sharpness quality out of the box. That does not mean every unit has the issue, but with shears specifically, blade quality is the whole conversation. Worth checking recent detailed feedback before you buy. For most small farm owners who want a proven, well-documented option at a reasonable price, this is the safest pick on the list. But if you need more raw power for heavier or larger livestock, the next option is where that conversation begins. So here is where the power conversation actually starts. The Drag-Row 600 watts sheep clippers come in at $79.99, and that extra wattage compared to lower-end models is not just a number on a box. 600 watts with 6 adjustable speed settings means you have real control across a wide range of coat types and animal sizes. Low speeds for sensitive areas, high speeds for full-body shearing runs on thicker coats. The manufacturer suggests you can work through 6 to 10 sheep in an hour, which for family farming or a small pasture operation is a genuinely practical throughput. With a 4.4-star rating across over 500 reviews and a bestseller badge, the customer consensus here is strong. Now, the trade-off worth knowing. This machine requires proper cooling discipline. Lubrication between uses, cooling spray every few minutes, and short breaks during extended sessions. Some owners report the blades can overheat if you push through that protocol. That does not make it a bad tool, but it does make it a tool that rewards careful operators over casual ones. For the serious small farm buyer who needs reliable power without moving into commercial pricing, this is a natural finalist. But if you are running a larger operation and need sustained heavy-duty performance without those cooling pauses, keep watching. So here is our top pick, and at $61.99, the Take Kit 500 watts earns that position mostly on value. With 874 reviews and a 4.2-star rating, this is the most reviewed option on this list by a significant margin, and that gives you a much clearer picture of real-world performance than a product with a handful of early ratings. The 500-watt full copper motor runs at 2,800 rotations per minute, and the 6-speed range is genuinely practical. Lower settings for sensitive areas around the face and legs, higher settings for full-body shearing on wool that has had time to grow out. The 16-foot cord is a thoughtful detail that many buyers overlook until they are actually working around a moving animal. Now, the trade-offs. Some owners report units arriving non-functional or stopping shortly after first use. That is worth taking seriously before you purchase. Verify the return policy and keep your receipt. That said, the volume of satisfied reviews suggests most buyers do not hit that issue. For a budget-conscious buyer, shearing small to mid-sized flocks or working with alpacas and thick-coated dogs, this is a practical, well-supported starting point. So here is where everything lands. You have got a price ladder running from around $62 up to $80. B-TRO sits in the middle of that range, with over 1,700 reviews behind it. And honestly, that review volume matters more than PAT-JUUMG's 1,000-watt claim. More real-world feedback means fewer surprises after the purchase. Higher wattage sounds appealing, but if the buyer base is smaller, you have less signal on long-term reliability. Budget buyer? B-TRO. Occasional light use? Entry-level. Serious volume with varied coat types? That is where spending toward the top of this ladder starts making sense. So here is where everything lands. Budget-conscious farms doing lighter work. Take Kit is your practical starting point. Curious buyers who want to test the category before committing serious money, B-TRO gives you that proof of concept without much risk. And if you are regularly working through thick, dense coats at volume, the 600-watt option is where the investment actually justifies itself. Who should skip all of this? Anyone expecting professional grooming results without the learning curve. These are tools, not shortcuts. Buy smart. Links to everything covered are in the description below. Next up, we compare cordless versus corded grooming tools, and the answer is less obvious than you think. Take care, and I'll see you in that one.